For as long as I can remember, I have been a fan of sports. Playing them, rooting for the teams I like, and at times getting emotionally invested in the people I'm watching. So when I first started getting into anime and manga, it felt only natural for me to gravitate towards the sports genre. At the offset, it seems like an odd grouping of worlds to connect, and in the beginning, that was how the greater audience seemed to perceive it. In 1928, Yasuji Murata created a short film entitled Animal Olympic Games. The film was inspired by the 1928 Summer Olympics in Amsterdam and was made in Murata's film studio, Yokohama Cinema Shokai. The work is considered by many to be his most important, it being the first Japanese animated sports feature. The genre, however, would not appear in the medium again for 24 years, when a judo manga by the name Igaguri-kun popped onto the scene, and subsequently quickly left. Silence once again for 14 long years. That is until the 1966 cultural hit classic Speed Racer. Totsuo Yoshida's story of intense auto racing has been known through many forms of media, but in the West was most well known for its hit television series, which was very successful in the United States and is said to have defined anime in that country until the 1990s. Being watched by a total estimated audience of 40 million viewers during the 1960s and 1970s. This opened the floodgates as sports manga and anime started becoming a yearly occurrence, and just 2 years later, Ashita no Joe was born into the world. Written by Asao Takamori, the alias of Japanese author and illustrator Iki Kajiwara, and illustrated by Tetsuya Chiba. The story follows a young man named Joe Yabuki in his boxing career as a bantamweight. Akin to how many Americans viewed Rocky Balboa as a relatable underdog, it was popular with working class people and college students in Japan, giving off this vibe that anyone can achieve the top of the mountain if they work hard enough. It has been adapted into various media, including the Megalobox series in 2018, a futuristic reimagining of the original that was made as a part of the 50th anniversary of the Ashita no Joe franchise. These shows are what can be seen as the true start of the sports genre, and what likely helped them both was that at the time of publishing, both racing and especially boxing were main attractions in sports. Timing can be everything when it comes to deciding if something will just be another show or a generation-defining piece of work. So, in 1993, during what was arguably the high point of the NBA's popularity, Takehiko Inoue created his love letter to basketball, Slam Dunk. What made Slam Dunk so feverishly popular was a perfect storm of the sport's rise in popularity, thanks to the 80s manned by Magic Johnson's Showtime Lakers, Larry Bird's Celtics, and the Bad Boy Pistons, and the decade's new giant Michael Jordan and the Bulls. This coupled with Inoue's personal passion for the sport and hyper-realistic art and storytelling. A simple tale of a delinquent boy who only joined his high school's team to win over the girl he likes. It had humor, well-detailed explanations of how the sport worked, and character depth. Even if you had never seen a single game of basketball, you will be able to still follow along because our main character, Sakuragi Hanamichi, has never seen or played the sport before himself. Throughout the story, you, the reader, get to see his development every step of the way. He's not some basketball genius, even though he thinks he is, who suddenly becomes the greatest player. He struggles with the basics. He misses layups. He's obsessed with dunking, and constantly is bailed out by his natural athleticism. This formula led to over 170 million copies in circulation, making it the 7th best-selling manga series in history. In 2010, Inoue received special commendations from the Japan Basketball Association for helping popularize the sport in Japan. To help audiences relate to his characters, Inoue drew clear influences from the NBA at the time. Sakuragi's delinquent behavior and obsession with becoming the rebound king appears to be inspired by Dennis Rodman. Sakuragi's teammate and captain of the Shohoku basketball team, Takanori Akagi, is a physical center reminiscent of Patrick Ewing. Kaede Rukawa, The best player on the team is the character meant to be akin to a young Michael Jordan. What makes this so much more amazing is that the NBA just recently had its two first ever Japanese basketball players, and both credit Slam Dunk with helping them get into the sport. One such player, Yuta Watanabe, said in an interview, "I got into it and couldn't stop reading it. I finished it in like 3 days. In the years since he first discovered the series, Watanabe estimates he has reread Slam Dunk over 100 times. While NBA players in North America often talk about pretending to be the aforementioned Johnson, Bird, or Jordan growing up, for a generation of Japanese players, their inspirations came from fictional characters like Sakuragi and Rukawa." Transitioning to a more recent property, while not nearly on the same level of impact as Slam Dunk, 2012's Haikyuu, telling the story of a high school boys volleyball team's goal to be the best team in Japan, greatly helped the growth of the sport in the country. The estimated number of players to join boys high school volleyball teams in Japan from the Manga start to 2016 was an increase of over 7,000 concurrent players. Then in 2020, many real-life teams seeking to enter the Inter-High Sports Festival had dreams dashed as the event was canceled due to the pandemic, and as a show of support, the staff behind Haikyuu gathered as many volleyball teams' uniforms as they could, ending up with 165 teams. The staff then laid out all of the uniforms, taking a special photo to commemorate the real-life teams behind the sport, knowing that the sport they gave the series, it would never have been able to reach the popularity that it had. This finally all culminated at the 2021 Tokyo Olympics, where during a match Japan had with Venezuela, Yuji Nishida was seen spiking the ball powerfully into the rival team's side of the court, winning Japan a point during the second set. And after successfully winning the point, Spy Air's Imagination could be heard being played over the speakers. The song was the first theme tune to be used for the Haikyuu anime, featuring from episode 1 to 13 of the show's debut season. These are just a few of the many forays anime and manga have taken into sports. Some shows take liberal freedoms with the sport they are covering, such as football manga Ice Shield 21, or another basketball show, Kuroko no Basket, using advanced visuals and even, in Kuroko's case, basketball superpowers. Whilst others create new sports entirely, such as, well, a certain show about female ass wrestling. Anime can be really weird, and I love it all the more for that. While it took some time to catch on at the beginning, and has gone through numerous phases, the sports genre is definitely here to stay. It has a lot of touching stories of underdogs overcoming the odds, long-running tournament arcs, wonderfully thought-out characters, and hopefully many more years of girls fighting each other with magical ass attacks. Thank you everyone for watching this episode of Baka to Basics. Remember to like the video, and if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below about your favorite sports shows and manga and how you first got into the genre. I've been Summers from Baka to Basics, and I'll see you the next time class is in session.